Good morning, everyone. I don't think I have ever seen this room this full. So I guess you guys must want to hear what's going to be said. All right. Well, as you know, in normal here at Metro, we start with safety contact. Please observe the exits in case there's an emergency. If there is, we'll have to depart from this room and we will meet across the street over near the building museum. As far as a customer care standpoint, I'm going to say some of the same things I said yesterday because I was able to help a person who did not know, don't tell me, I can tell you how they didn't know that the red line was not going any further than Fort Totten. I was able to show them to go down the steps to get on the green line. So please do take care of our customers out there. So at this point, since our general manager was able to join us this morning, and I'm glad he was, I'd like to welcome him up.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank Jim and your entire team for pulling this together, so thank you so much. Done a great job. And I want to thank all of you for taking the time and to come here and participate. To me, this is all about respect across the board. I mean, that's what is so important to me, that we respect everyone, no matter where they are in the organization or what their background is or what their choices are in life, okay? So that's what it's about to me. I won't take much time. I'm in the middle of, unfortunately, I'm sure you've all read our budgeting process, and I present to the board tomorrow. So if you want to grab me afterwards, I'll be around. I'm sure that you have some thoughts on that. I'll be coming out actually with a note to all the employees tomorrow. I am looking for any ideas that you have. I've got a $300 million hole I've got to fill. So anything you can help me get to that, I would really appreciate it. So with that, we'll go on with the show. All right? Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. All right. And welcome to the 2016 Metro I Am Inclusion Day. And I was really glad to see so many of you here today. I am John Kuo. I'm the Chief of Internal Business Operations. Everybody knows what that is, right? Okay. There'll be a test a little later, okay? I'm not going to get into what that is right now, but I'm relatively new here. I've been here about 4.5 months, but I'm really proud and pleased to be part of this fantastic Metro team, and more importantly, really glad to be participating as part of this great event today. Your participation here today demonstrates your commitment to inclusion and building your awareness and understanding why a diverse and inclusive culture is so important to every organization. Okay? Our goal this week is to make sure that you understand what safe behaviors means to WMATA. SAFE stands for supportive, authentic, foundational, and expected behaviors. Okay, let me read that once again. SAFE stands for supportive, authentic, foundational, and expected behaviors. That is what we're driving to develop in all of us here at WMATA. And most importantly, let's begin to apply everything that we're learning this week and to be shared among all of us, throughout this wonderful event as part of the I Am Inclusion Days. So before I introduce our guest speaker, I want to take a moment to encourage you to attend this afternoon's session and workshop entitled Keeping It Real with Multicultural Teams. The facilitator will be Ms. Tracy Brown, and for those who have participated in Inclusion Week last year, you will remember her as a very dynamic and interactive presentation style. So make sure that you attend the workshop, which is scheduled at 2 p.m. this afternoon, which will be held in room 5D02. And you definitely don't want to miss that workshop. So without further ado, let me share a little bit about today's speaker. He has been described as one of the nation's most influential and renowned public intellects. You may have seen him on any number of network and cable television programs from CNN to Late Night with Stephen Colbert. He was named one of the 150 most powerful African Americans by Ebony magazine, and Essence magazine named him one of the 50 most inspiring African Americans in the United States. He is the best-selling author and has published 16 books and many scholarly articles from New York Times to the Rolling Stone. Against all odds, he went from a young welfare father to a Princeton PhD. And now he is a professor at Georgetown University. He has written and lectured about politics, race, hip-hop articles, leaders, culture, and yes, diversity and inclusion in business. So let's give a warm Metro welcome to Dr. Michael Eric Dyson.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that very gracious introduction. It's good to be here today, hang out with y'all here where the living is easy and the burden is light. In the midst of financial restructuring, no tension in this place today. Safe for real. But what an honor it is to be here with the distinguished gentlemen who are at the helm, and all of you who embody the integrity of this great institution and who keep us literally on the go. So I'm honored to have this opportunity to chat a bit about notions of inclusion, notions of diversity, and how those critical elements that Ms. Posey, shout out to her, shared with me, make a difference in any institutional hierarchy and set the tone, template, and terms of negotiation for people in complex organizations where complex relationships are called for, and how if you can't practice it among yourselves, you can't distribute it among others. So I just want to chat a bit about the varieties and virtues of a notion of inclusion and diversity, and then talk about what value it has to those of us who've got to engage one another in such an important enterprise as you're running here. You know, for some people, this is political correctness gone amok. Especially in our recent political climate. Don't worry, I ain't telling you who to vote for. Whoever can help you financially restructure this place. Right? I ain't got no dog in that fight, right? I know people like to play card games. You don't always have to be Trump tight. But what's interesting, it seems to be, I am giving no indication at all. I love funk music. Do any of you know the founder, one of them, of Parliament Funkadelic? Yeah? DC guy, right? What's his name? George, who? Oh, okay, yeah. Just wondering. Just curious, I didn't know. But some figures have suggested that a notion of diversity and inclusion is about the capitulation to a rather rigorous and somehow fascist demand for political correctness, said by people who are used to having their way unchallenged. And when it's been your way from the beginning, when you've had a kind of Frank Sinatra experience, shout out to the chairman, rest in peace, Mr. Sinatra, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Love that, brother. A kind of my way or the highway. I did it my way, an unchallenged my way. my way as the template and my way as the paradigm for how it should be done. The notion of inclusion says America is great when America indeed integrates profound diversity and inclusion in the context of its democratic vision. Democracy has to open up to diversity and inclusion because, as our founding fathers initially conceived it, the nation was great, but it wasn't that wide in terms of the visions that constituted this great country. And at its best, America is an inclusive place because you got to have a diversity of opinion, ideas, ideologies, and identities to make the thing go. Because that's who we see in the country. It ain't just one group of people running stuff, or it shouldn't be. It's not just one group of people who constitute the amazing diversity that we are as a nation. We can't just have Lithuanians over here and Polish folk over there and Italians over here and Irish over here and African American over here or Mexicans over here or people from the Pacific Rim over here. We are all together, native, indigenous people, part of what it means to be an American, and yet historically there has been the refusal to acknowledge the legitimacy of that diversity. That's not politically correct, though it interests me. People want to be correct about everything but politics. Let your check come in wrong. I think you want to be financially correct, mathematically correct, arithmetically correct. Them numbers just don't be adding up. And you want to make sure they add up. And so American diversity is really the product of American democracy, because American democracy, whether it officially acknowledged it or not, rested upon a diversity that it denied. Now, it is true that in the original Constitution's vision, people of color, black people in particular, were seen as 3/5 human. We adding up in terms of the numbers. We don't count as a whole person, but 3/5 of a white brother and sister in terms of the metric and calculus to determine the distribution of goods and resources and to determine the vision of democracy and how it would hew to a very robust conception of equality, justice, and freedom. And so we know from the very beginning there was an internal schism and contradiction. You can't be having a conception of American democracy at its best, at its healthiest, without looking at the diversity upon which it rested. People of color building the thing, and I know it's still controversial. You got the first black president on his way out, and whether you agree with him or not, and whether you adhere to his politics, it was an amazing and majestic development for American democracy that we could finally embrace a person of color, an African American man, as the head of this nation, because if we can't embrace him, then we can't embrace anybody. It's not open to everybody if it's not open to everybody. And so, and now we've got running the potential first female president of the United States of America. So this nation is a regular broadcast for the virtue and the value of diversity to American democracy. We can't be a country that doesn't appeal to everybody and have everything coming in. You can't just listen to one kind of music, even though you like your music. I mean, you might be a fan of, rhythm and blues. You might be a fan of opera. You might be a fan of Snoop Dogg. Maybe. Kendrick Lamar, let's just update it. You might like Waylon Jennings. Now, I like all of those folk. I like some country, but I'm old school country, not the new stuff. I like them weeping mandolins and the violins and the great lyrics. If I would have killed you when I met you, I'd been out of jail by now. My kind of country. All my exes live in Texas, that's why I live in Tennessee. I like the blues music too. Hey lady, your husband is cheating on us. It takes that, and it takes some Jay-Z No, my teachers couldn't reach me, and my mama couldn't beat me hard enough to match the pain of my pop not seeing me. So, with that disdain in my membrane, got on my pimp game, blanked the world, my defense came. It takes all kind of music. It takes Beyonce and Solange. Get that seat at the table. It's pretty nice. Cranes in the sky, holla. So what's interesting, and we like some gangster rap in Italian. That's what opera basically is. I mean, or in German, right? Cantate domino. That's great. But what is opera talking about? Somebody messing up with their mamas and killing their people and fighting in turn. That's just gangster rap in another language. That they may be celebrating Snoop Dogg the same way, falling back on that ass with the hellified gangster lean. So that diversity sonically constitutes the beautiful, bruising, sometimes brutal and powerful diversity of the music we listen to that feeds the soul and nourishes our conception of who we are. And so American democracy, even as it denied the legitimacy of diversity, appealed to it in order to survive. Slaves who made this country, whose blood mixed with the soil, who in the long rawhide whip of the overseer and the cotton rolls produced this country, or women without whose valuable insight and birthing of a nation would not make possible, their sacrifice made possible who we are as an American society. We depended on diversity even before we had a name for it. And now we live in what Gore Vidal calls the United States of amnesia. We just be forgetting. Now, y'all look old enough to me to know who Barbra Streisand is. Most of y'all. Remember, Barbra Streisand had a song that I think is the theme song of the United States of amnesia. What's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. Y'all remember that? Cold remake by Gladys Knight and them later on that year. Memories like the corners of my mind. But so the reality is we get in touch with painful realities and we'd rather run. Black and white and red and brown and yellow. We want to talk about difference. Let's pretend we are the world. Michael Jackson's vision predominates. And yet the reality is there are nasty interstitial differences. There is hostility. There is disagreement too, because we have not yet resolved who we are as a nation. As our political atmosphere indicates to you, there are vicious and deep divisions. People of color being demonized, people from Mexico being demonized, immigrants being demonized, Americans with disabilities and other able people being demonized. This is the beauty, not the viciousness of America. Our strength and not our weakness is our diversity. This ain't no politically correct capitulation to the notion that we just ought to include everybody because everybody deserves to be, but they don't have no skills. Isn't it interesting? In America for so long, there was affirmative action, but everybody except other people, except for people of color. White brothers and sisters had it to themselves, white men in particular. Babe Ruth didn't bat against the greatest ball players, against the greatest white ball players. Earl Lloyd got into the NBA in 1950. He just died a year or two ago. The first black basketball player. What would basketball be without some brothers? I don't even want to think about that. It ain't but one Larry Bird, dude. Dirk Nowitzki, represent. Some Eastern European cats, tough as they can be. But for the most part, it's LeBron and Kobe and D. Wade and them. Can you imagine? Are you saying that to include Kobe Bryant is to do an affirmative action capitulation to somebody who ain't qualified? I think not. It means that you had in your own narrow vision precluded the participation of manifest superiority because you didn't want to be in competition with the best. Right? So diversity is about bringing the best. Look, I was on a plane a couple years ago, and I was with these two elderly white women. They had seen me on TV. Dr. Dyson, how are you? We on the plane kicking it, tossing them back. Cranberry juice and sparkling water. My church members here today, I ain't drinking. I've been drinking. So here we are on the plane, and all of a sudden the pilot's voice comes over the loudspeaker. It's a woman. The two elderly white women say to me, Dr. Dyson, what do you think about that? I act like I ain't know what they was talking about. What you mean, baby? She said, you know. They were so cute. I said, oh, heck, I'm going to sleep now. Because if a woman flying this plane, they done tested her so much, she could fly this joint upside down and land on a dime. I know they done tested her. Gave her breathalyzer, medical marijuana check. If anybody has any, see me after. But what's interesting, so diversity does not mean creating space for those who are inferior. It means getting rid of your superiority complex to allow to flourish people of manifest quality. Now everybody don't do it the same way, everybody don't look the same way, everybody don't talk the same way. That's the beauty of the country. We got some straight shooters, we got some color outside the box people. And we got to have diversity, and we have to have a diversity of diversity. We got to start with race and gender, because that's real. We got to start with sexuality as well, but that's where some people who are diverse get mad at other people who are diverse. Hey, your diversity is not like mine. Yeah, that's diversity. Then you start using your holy book to try to justify why they messed up. And you diverse yourself. I don't get that. I ain't never got that. I'm an ordained Baptist minister. I go to a bunch of churches. I ain't never been to a church that turns down gay tithes. Just never. And people trying to use God to co-sign their bigotry. Well, the word said, you a woman, don't talk to me in church. You gonna believe that? Not the ones I know. Look. That's what I be getting. Be getting Negro please looks in the eye. Are you telling me that you can obviously be a victim of oppression yourself and turn around and use a holy book to justify and legitimate somebody else's oppression? Without any sense of irony. Oh, but that's different. They chose to be gay. I can't help being Puerto Rican. I can't help being black. Everybody can see it coming. I got you. I know what it means. Look, people done asked me to change up. I've been majoring in blackness for 58 years. I can't change my major now. I was here, this is what I do. I'm good at it too. I'm good at being a Negro. I'm an excellent African American, a great black man, and a straight stone cold person of color. That's an inside joke, don't worry. Now we can't turn around and beat up on gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and queer people because your religious authority gives you a sense that it's different. When did you choose to be straight? If they chose to be gay, what, you went to your mom at 10 years old? Look, I've been looking at the options. And that other one is a real pain in the ass. Oh, please. Is that how it really works? So you try to justify and legitimate and come up with a rationale for your bigotry. Diversity is complicated and uncomfortable. Because if you're really going to be diverse, you got to deal with all kinds of diversities. Other able people. We see my brother over here spitting knowledge. I'm talking to him. He's talking to me. sharp, articulate. Say I'm good looking, brother. He is. Yeah. We exclude the other abled. Their abilities are rendered mute. We ourselves are incapable of seeing their productivity and their capacity to contribute to what this institution is. Those who come from poor circumstances, poor white trash, demonized all your life, feeling bad because you come from Georgia or Tennessee, called a cracker, written off, stigmatized. Here you are, a poor person of color, growing up in an America that has no use for you. Here you are, a person of color, subject to police brutality and the invidious forms of oppression that result from a society that can still not recognize our humanity. Black Lives Matter. And people immediately are defensive about it. No, other people's lives matter too. We saying Black Lives Matter too. Because we know your lives matter. If we go to the NFL and say women's lives matter, and somebody sends up, yes, but ball players' lives matter too. We know. We get that. That's why rape culture is still real. That's where violence against women is not prosecuted. That's why it's acceptable. We get mad at a young man who takes a knee to identify with those who are victims of oppression, but don't get mad at the guys who continue to play week after week after they beat and rape and harm women. Those who stand for that flag are to be celebrated. And those who protest the use of that flag are to be celebrated as well. Those who get upset, my God, why would you dare insult the country? Did you not know that men of color went to war in World War II, and when they came home in their uniforms, they were lynched? Did you not know that black men who came from World War II fighting the scourge of Nazism had to sit in the apartheid black-only section while German prisoners of war were in first class in the all-white section? Think about what diversity really means. Think about what inclusion of a variety of perspectives is. It ain't, see, real inclusion is messy. It ain't neat. It ain't just me and my crew, me and my group, me and my peeps, me and my ethnicity, me and my race, me and my clique, me and my fraternity, me and my sorority, me and my job, me and my grade. It is about all of us together, working out the nasty negotiation for coming to some kind of understanding about what makes us best. And I contend that in any institution, any hierarchy, must be suffused with the notion of an appreciation for difference and for diversity and for the inclusion that is the consequence of that diversity, and making sure that perspectives are taken seriously. Doesn't mean you got to give up who you are. Doesn't mean you have to surrender the authority and the authenticity of your identity. But it does mean you got to learn to get along with other people in the sandbox. Ain't all your toys. You get mad, you want to go home because we ain't playing your way. Welcome to our world. That's what it means to be a person of color or a woman in America. We ain't always getting what we want, but we learn to deal with it. We take the results even if they don't favor us. I'm just saying. If we run for a particular office and we don't get in, we ain't trying to subvert the whole thing. No, mommy, no, it didn't go my way. No, I wanted to win. Me. Grow up. Diversity is grown people's business. Inclusion is democracy grown up. We got to have some maturity, some adults in the room. And what it means to be an adult is to learn how to negotiate from a base of strength, to be sure, from a base of self-assurance, a safe space. Yes, that support is important. That authenticity is important. That foundational value is important. And that expectation of it is important. That's a safe space. All of us need to be safe because We are subject to forces that undermine us, that erode our integrity, that erode our self, if you will, esteem, that give us a sense that we are not as great as we really are. You've got to tap into the logic and energy in an organization that creates the possibility that all of your participants, all of your employees feel that they are valued. And how you do that is you value them. Ain't no way around it. And you can learn some of the smartest stuff from some of the people you think ain't smart. If you smart. You can learn stuff from everybody. Look, I teach undergraduates. It's tough up in there. Plus, they keep getting younger every year. You know, I just be saying stuff. And they say back in the day, back in 2000. Back in the day? Back in 2000? Man, they don't know nothing. Facebook, we have to face the book and read it. We had to go to the library. That's where all the lies were buried. Had to dig them up. They don't know about no card catalog. Yes, I have all my aces over here. Right? 106.7. That ain't no radio station. That's sociology and politics. Twitter. What? Man, can you imagine if we had to send out tweets when we were children? Some of y'all got saved because y'all know y'all be nasty. Don't be looking down your nose at anybody else. You sending what kind of picture? You know you did the same thing. You just had slow motion nastiness. You had to wait to show up in the parlor. You couldn't just, direct mail somebody. It goes down in the DM. Yeah, I know y'all know. We've got an enormous archival potential with digital media, and yet we don't have the potential to break through the barriers that kept us apart even in the old days. All you got with new media is more ways to keep people apart, to keep them divided. Social media will not by itself, digital media will not by itself, the bandwidth expanding will not by itself overcome the problems that are human problems. Institutional problems. You have to appreciate and value people that you don't even know you need. Stuff they got that you need, information they have that is critical and vital, insight that is important. And so when I talk to these young people, I'm trying to tell them that stuff, and then I'm listening to them at the same time. I hear the agony and the hurt and the pain that they endure. I hear some of their music. Somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I started as a seed, the semen, swimming upstream, planted in the womb while screaming. On the top was my pops. My mama hollering stop from a single drop. This is what they got? Not to disrespect my people, but my papa was a loser. Only plan he had for mama was the blanker and abuser. And even as a seed, I could see his plan for me, stranded on welfare, another broken family. The pain that you hear. I'm sure some of y'all heard the great philosopher Christopher Wallace, better known as the notorious B.I.G., right? I used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat. Wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne. Darn right. Right? Darn right I like the life I live. Because I went from negative to positive. And if you don't know. See, that's what they doing on their Metro time. You better check them out over there, bro. Back in the days, he said, our parents used to take care of us. Look at them now, they're even scared of us. Calling the state for help because they can't maintain. Darn things done change. If I wasn't in the rap game, I'd probably have a kilo, knee deep in the crack game, because the streets is a shortstop. Either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Darn, it's hard being young from the slums, eating 5-cent gums, not knowing where your meal's coming from. What happened to the summertime cookout? Every time I turn around, a brother's being took out. pain and agony that they feel. And if we hear their stories, listen to their trauma, maybe we wouldn't be so hard on some of these young people that others of your employees see out in the street, beyond the professional levels or on your trains or buses, and you see them making egress and ingress, and as your transportational networks and circuits fan out, you began to see their bodies as more than mere flotsam and jetsam in the stream of life. Yes, they have sagging draws, but if you lifted their dreams, their draws might follow. That diversity, that inclusion is critical. Include that in your mindset. Include that in your thinking about how you calculate what's important, what routes to take, which ones to close down, how long to stay open. Think about it, because we live in a city where gentrification is afoot, and the way in which the transportation network has situated itself has been an unwilling accomplice in the gentrification of some and the deadening of opportunities for others. So you got to figure out what those routes are about, what neighborhoods you go into, what you are seen as, an enemy or friend, how the transportation of those bodies, taking bodies that are seen as not as worthy as others to places they shouldn't be. And so, my brothers and sisters, that inclusion is critically important, and a safe space generated out of our understanding of who we are as human beings, meant to help each other. And as I close, it's extremely important for those of you who are involved in this kind of work to understand that difference doesn't mean inferior. A lot of us are stuck with that, believing that diversity and difference somehow invite into our lives elements that will somehow undermine the integrity of the excellence with which we are traditionally associated. First of all, you ain't necessarily traditionally associated with it. The stuff you got is good because it's yours, but there's better stuff than that. So those who come along to help you understand what to do and can teach you what to do with what you got. You think you know it all. You think you are capable and skilled, and yet others coming in who have a different attitude, approach, and disposition begin to teach you how to use things in different ways, whether it's social media, whether it's flow charts, whether it's stochastic environments, thermodynamic equations, whether it's understanding even Einstein for that matter, the physical chemistry of your interactions, the physical geography, the mechanical engineering that undergirds the circuiting that is predicated upon your own understanding of the urban versus the suburban and exurban, and how that operates, that people can help you understand. Beyond the mechanics of the engineering, it's the social engineering that's critical as well. It's the mental understanding of the toughness it takes to be in an environment that is highly demanding and yet highly rewarding. You take care of precious cargo at the ultimate end of things, but the precious cargo of your spirit, your insight, your soul, so to speak, but also the precious membrane of your interactions with each other at work, words that you say that might hurt somebody, become more conscious of that. Don't always treat the person that you are unfamiliar with as the other. They want the same thing you want. Get off on time. Plus leave work on time. Y'all slow, that's all right. Let's keep it PG. So what's interesting, they want their kids to be treated with respect. You want to make a decent living. You want your supervisor to recognize the hard work you putting in. You want people who are in charge to truly be in charge and not to micromanage and allow you to use your tremendous skills to contribute. You want recognition and reward. You want not necessarily your name up in lights, but just the recognition that what you do is important. All of us need that. Everybody wants that. Dr. King said everybody wants that vitamin A to the ego. You go home, you don't want to have to orchestrate it. Tell your people, now when I come in the door, say, you the man. Just do that sometime without me telling you. I walk in the door, you're the man. Oh, really? I am? Thank you. You're the woman. My Lord, thanks. In other words, everybody needs vital recognition. And in an institution like this, where it's so important that inclusion across divorces and divides and circuits of difference, where people's hair texture and their skin color and the shape of their noses and the shape of their bodies is different. We can't even do that in a country where we got a guy who went to an Ivy League, married to a woman who went to an Ivy League, with kids who are beautiful, and they still mad. I won't get political, I'm just saying. I mean, we do it the way you say we want it to be done. And he's done it. I mean, this is the most famous black man living in public housing. Just saying. That's really, we're moving on up. Hey, Wheezy! George Jefferson in the White House. I wish Obama would come out just sometime. Maybe on the last day. What? With a skull cap on, with some gold teeth in his mouth, with some of them Magic Johnson socks. What? I done everything you damn said you wanted to do. Now I'm about to head up and leave up out this bitch. But that's not how it's going to happen. Thank you. Yes, we can. The point is that if we can't even acknowledge wife getting talked about because of the shape of her body, don't be hating. Look, Eastern European, Western European svelte bodies that are taught, that's beautiful. But so is what's she working with. I don't want to reduce the complexity of female identity to anatomy, but I'm saying people be buying stuff out of silicone canisters and butt injections. You just born with it. Look at that anatomical diversity. Myself, I am in profound appreciation of. I ain't mad at nobody else, but if you got it, back it up. I'm talking about your brain. I'm talking about your brain. We ain't all built the same way. We don't look the same way. We don't talk the same way. But we want, many of us, the same things. To, with courtesy and respect, treat our fellow workers and be treated in return with that kindness, so that our contributions will be recognized, so that our humanity will be validated, and so that our worthfulness will be recognized. That's the beauty of working here. That's the beauty of the ideas that motivate us. And with your continued involvement, that will be the characteristic mark of a wonderful and tremendous institution like Metro that you work for. Peace.
Well, Dr. Dyson, I just want to say thank you. And, well, everyone, wasn't that fantastic? And I'm just going to say, Dr. Dyson, you're the man.
Thank you, brother.
We just want to express our with a token of appreciation, with a little gift for you, parting gift, and we want you to remember your time here with our Metro workforce. And you can see with this whole room packed, they obviously enjoyed your thought-provoking and inspiring message, and we're all inspired. Okay, and this is a gift that you cannot buy in stores, obviously, and I hope you proudly display this on your desk when you get back to your office.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, it's a little Metro pylon.
Thank you.
Y'all got any Metro cards? like a 3-year Metro card. That's all I need.
Thank you. Another round of applause. Okay. All right. Okay, before we adjourn, we just have some minor administrative details to close out on. I want to bring up Jim Nguyen, our Acting Chief of Fair Practices, with the door prize winners today.
Doctor, unreal. Absolutely unreal. I think we hit a home run there, don't you think so too? Yeah, okay. Okay, well, everyone in the room and also in the overflow room, look under your chair if you have an envelope. Okay. Okay, calm down. Okay. Okay, calm down. Okay. If I can have your attention again, please. Your attention. Okay. Those who have the envelopes, if you will stay here in the boardroom, and you will be getting your prize. And those of you, I'm talking here as loud as I can. Those of you who are in the overflow rooms, please come to the boardroom and you can get your prize also. That concludes this session, and thank you all for attending.